There are moments in life when you feel heavy, like you've been carrying invisible weight for far too long. A year of stress, disappointment, negative thoughts, and emotional baggage can quietly build up, shaping how you see yourself in the world. But what if you didn't have to carry that weight anymore? What if in just 7 days you could reset your energy, clear your mind, and step into a completely new version of yourself? This is not about ignoring reality. It's about transforming it, starting from within. Awareness is where everything begins because you cannot change what you refuse to see. Most people go through their days on autopilot, repeating the same thoughts, reacting in the same ways, and carrying the same emotional patterns without ever questioning them. Negativity builds not because life is always difficult, but because unconscious patterns keep reinforcing it. When you slow down and observe your inner world, you start to notice the quiet habits of your mind, the doubts that appear automatically, the fears that whisper in the background, the stories you tell yourself about why things won't work out. This step is not about judging yourself or trying to fix everything at once. It's about becoming honest. You begin to separate who you are from what you are experiencing, realizing that just because a thought appears does not mean it is true or permanent. That realization alone creates space, and in that space, your power begins to return. You see how certain triggers affect you, how certain environments drain you, and how certain beliefs keep you stuck in cycles that feel familiar but limiting. Awareness also requires courage, because it asks you to face what you've been avoiding, but in that facing, something shifts. Instead of being controlled by negativity, you become the observer of it. And once you can observe it, you are no longer trapped inside it. You are standing outside it with the ability to choose differently. And that is where transformation truly begins. Responsibility is the moment you stop giving your power away and start reclaiming control over your inner world. It is not about blaming yourself for everything that has happened, but about recognizing that you are the one who decides what stays alive within you. Many people remain stuck in negativity because they keep pointing outward at circumstances, at other people, at the past, believing that something outside must change before they can feel different. But the truth is, as long as your emotional state is dependent on external conditions, you remain powerless. Responsibility shifts that dynamic. It allows you to see that while you may not control every event, you always have influence over your reaction, your interpretation, and the meaning you assign to it. This is where freedom begins. You start to notice how you replay certain situations in your mind, how you hold on to conversations, how you relive moments that continue to drain your energy long after they've passed. And instead of justifying it, you interrupt the pattern. You take ownership of your attention, your focus, and your emotional investment. Responsibility also means choosing growth over comfort, because it's easier to stay in familiar negativity than to step into the unknown of change. But the moment you accept that your inner state is your domain, everything begins to shift. You stop waiting for closure, for apologies, for perfect conditions, and you begin creating your own sense of peace from within. This is not a one-time decision. It's a continuous practice of choosing yourself over your patterns, choosing clarity over chaos, and choosing empowerment over excuses, because the moment you fully take responsibility, you realize that your transformation has always been in your hands. Your thoughts are not just fleeting ideas passing through your mind. They are the foundation upon which your entire reality is built. Every belief you hold, every assumption you repeat, and every internal dialogue you engage in quietly shapes how you see the world and how the world responds to you. Most people underestimate this because thoughts feel invisible, but their effects are anything but. When you consistently think in a certain way, your mind begins to look for evidence to support those patterns, reinforcing them until they feel like undeniable truth. This is how negativity becomes familiar, even comfortable, because it has been practiced over and over again. To change this, discipline is required, not suppression. You don't fight your thoughts, you train them. You become aware of the ones that weaken you and consciously choose to redirect your focus toward thoughts that create strength, clarity, and possibility. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means refusing to let your mind default to limitation. Over time, this intentional shift rewires how you interpret situations, how you respond to setbacks, and how you envision your future. You begin to notice that the same circumstances no longer carry the same emotional weight because your perspective has changed. Thought discipline is not about controlling every single idea that appears. It's about deciding which ones deserve your attention and energy. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes until your mind starts working with you instead of against you. And in that alignment, you begin to experience a reality that reflects not your past conditioning, but your conscious choice to think differently. Emotional detox is not something that happens by simply waiting for time to pass. It is an intentional process that requires you to both look within and take meaningful action. Many people try to escape their emotions by distracting themselves, staying busy, or avoiding what they feel. But what is avoided does not disappear. It accumulates. Over time, these unprocessed emotions create heaviness, tension, and a constant sense of being stuck. True cleansing begins when you allow yourself to feel without resistance. You sit with the discomfort, not to suffer, but to understand what is underneath it. Reflection becomes your tool here, helping you identify where certain emotions come from, what triggered them, and what they are trying to teach you. But reflection alone is not enough because awareness without movement keeps you in the same place. This is where action comes in. You begin to release what no longer serves you through conscious choices, whether it's changing your environment, expressing what you've been holding in, setting boundaries, or letting go of habits that reinforce negativity. Action transforms insight into progress. It signals to your mind and body that you are no longer attached to the past in the same way. As you continue this process, you start to feel lighter, not because your life is perfect, but because you are no longer carrying unnecessary emotional weight. You realize that healing is not about erasing your experiences, it's about changing how they live inside you. When reflection and action work together, they create a powerful shift, allowing you to move forward with clarity instead of confusion, strength instead of heaviness, and a renewed sense of control over your emotional state. Consistency is what turns a temporary shift into a lasting transformation, because without it, even the most powerful insights fade away. Many people feel motivated for a moment, inspired to change, ready to let go of negativity, but they rely on emotion rather than discipline. And emotions fluctuate. One day you feel strong, the next day you feel pulled back into old habits. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. It's not about making one big effort. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Over 7 days, small repeated actions begin to build momentum. Each time you choose awareness over reaction, responsibility over blame, and empowering thoughts over limiting ones, you reinforce a new pattern. At first, it may feel unnatural, even uncomfortable, because you are stepping outside what is familiar. But repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity creates identity. What once felt forced begins to feel natural. This is how change becomes permanent. Consistency also builds trust within yourself. You prove that you are someone who follows through, someone who doesn't fall back at the first sign of difficulty. That self-trust becomes the foundation for everything else in your life. As the days pass, you begin to notice subtle shifts, your reactions soften, your clarity increases, your energy feels lighter. These small wins compound, creating a powerful momentum that carries you forward beyond the initial 7 days. What started as a short commitment becomes a new standard for how you live. You no longer rely on motivation to guide you because your actions are now rooted in discipline and intention. And through that consistency, you don't just cleanse negativity, you redefine who you are at your core.